Oh no.
We're going to start again. Right, Keith, let's pretend like we didn't just talk for 15 minutes without the recording on. So what we were talking about is we're going to raise money this year for Chris, Community Refugee Immigration Services here in Central Ohio. They do great stuff for refugees, immigrants, new Americans, Central Ohio. If you remember 2 years ago, and I know you remember, Bryant, because you're wearing the shirt, we made this, and by we, I mean Supporter Supply, made this awesome shirt that says Columbus, Ohio, soccer and new Americans. It has our podcast name on it, not our faces, so people would wear it. And it says Chris on it. We raised under 2,000 bucks. Last year, we wanted to do the same thing, right? What would you, if you had one word to describe 2020 and 2021, what would you say, Bryant? Just make up a
Um,
word.
oof. I'm leaning towards scrumtrelescent, but I think I'm gonna go with
Scrumptious.
I think I'm gonna go with unprecedented.
Well, I that's you just made that word up. I've never heard that. I would say they were. I will go a step further. 2020 and 2021 were unprecedented times.
Oof, they were
Unprecedented time.
indeed.
Well, 2020 we did the shirt sale, raised a good amount of money between 1,500 to 2,000. I can't remember. I'm not a calculator. In 2021 we were going to do something similar because we don't do merch like other shows might do it, where they just, hey, I'm going to make money on this merch. We made stickers and buttons and koozies and we gave them away for Frizzle. And then these shirts, we paid for the shirt just so you were making a donation and you got a shirt pack. We've lost a lot of money on this podcast. And we want to do the same thing in 2022 because we want to do some sort of merch again. I'm throwing around the idea of knit caps, but then you and not you and Felix, you and Frank would never wear them because you're in the friggin' South. And why would you ever wear a knit cap? Still playing around with the idea, but we want to do some sort of Chris, Brian, me, Bam Fam type stuff this year. Uh, because in the summer, do you know what's in the summer, Brian, here in Central Ohio with Chris?
Does it still snow?
It doesn't snow.
Oh, with Chris, I'm gonna go with the Nations Cup. Is that right?
Yeah, the nations. Well, the goal of all of our fundraising is Chris. That's it. Number one, we want to help them out. If you've listened to our show in the past, if you've been with us, if you're an OG, Jeremy Holland has been on the show twice. And you say, I'll take the words right out of Bryant's mouth. You listen to this dude and you'll run through a brick wall. You'll want to do anything because it's not the work. The work he does is amazing. It's not even work. It's his life. He just lives this all the time. He's got kids, families emailing him, texting him at all times of the day and of the night. But he does this because it's his passion to help people in the United States, refugees in Central Ohio, especially to come to America, have a better life. And then these folks also probably do more for their communities than we do. These us lazy born in Americans who just take life for granted. So we like to help those folks as much as we can. At the Nations Cup, it's all these amateur teams. It's not anybody pro. It's businesses will have teams of players, communities, refugee like neighborhoods, immigrant neighborhoods, friends will start their own teams, and some of the teams need sponsors. So this year, Bryant, I have a lofty goal of us getting $2,500 raised because we're going to sponsor one of the teams. We're going to sponsor the team that knows that soccer is a contact sport.
Oh
Wink,
yeah,
wink.
they're gonna be. Our goal is that they're a little chippy,
Mhm.
little chippy. I'm not gonna say dirty, but I will say maybe borderline.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, uh, so you miss the ball and your foot goes out in front of, the opponent. That's the game.
That's
That stuff
contact.
happens.
If you don't want a contact sport, go play tennis. Like I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. If you want to have an easy sport that you can just walk around and wear khakis and a polo shirt, play golf. All
There
right.
it
This
is.
is soccer. This is football. This is the world's game. So we want to sponsor a team. Funny enough, when I reached out to Jeremy, when I asked him about, I was like, hey, how much does it cost for a team? He thought I meant we were going to play as a team. we
Nope.
No, we're not playing soccer. you talking about? We'll watch it and we'll complain about it and I'll write about it. But for God's sakes, I'm not playing soccer.
I'm not even good at FIFA.
Yeah, you're
As a
not.
matter of fact, I get kind of sweaty playing FIFA. So
You don't want us. You don't want us on the field. But we're going to sponsor a Bryant and me team in 2022. We're going to need your help. So we're going to do some sort of merch. Watch out for that. I'm working with Supporter Supply now, just on some quotes, on some ideas that got out there. We're also going to try to do some fundraising things. Might have a raffle with some signed stuff by some crew players. I've been pulling some strings behind the scenes, trying to get that done. We've thought of, but what are some other ideas we texted about, Brian? I think you have a better memory than I do.
I think we talked about, geez, what did we talk about?
We talked about a telethon.
Yeah, like one of those, like a charity. I don't know if we do it on like Twitter Spaces or Twitch or
Yeah.
YouTube, like, because I think you can do like live on YouTube stuff, like something like that, where we do like I don't know, we bring on random guests, or we replay stuff, or we do something, and maybe we'll work in some video games, or who knows, like we'll
We could do
figure
like a
something out.
marathon. We could do like a 12-hour podathon. We could. I think most of our episodes are around 12 hours, so it wouldn't be that difficult for us.
Typical week for us anyway. So yeah, I mean, I think that would be a lot of fun, something we could maybe try and reach out and see if we can get some celebrity guests, or some kind of somebody to come on and help us out. But
And the crappy concert. That was the other one where, Farm Aid and Live Aid and all these big concerts, they'll
Wayne
raise
Stock.
money. Wayne Stock, yeah, Felix. Shout out to Felix. They'll raise money for charity by playing these big events, and they're raising money. So we're thinking we could do the opposite, because outside of our lack of soccer talent, we're also musically challenged. So we could do a crappy concert where me and Bryant play music and you pay us to stop playing music. You can say, please, for 10 minutes, I will pay you $10 to stop playing.
It's the scene from Cool Runnings when they're trying to raise money and Sanka's singing on the street.
Some
and the guy
say, you can't believe
Jamaica, we have a
bobsled team.
And then the guy comes up and it's like, I'll pay you $1 to shut up.
That'll be us. But these are all ideas that we have. We have to reach $2,500 by this summer. 2,500 or bust. I don't want to have to run again. I ran in 2021, and that was just because we didn't do anything and it was too late. And I was like, I want to raise money somehow.
And I don't want to have to start another OnlyFans.
Oh gosh. Feet aren't free, Bryant. Oh, you overcharge. Your prices went way up. But watch for those different outlets on how you can give, or if you just want to give to Chris. If we don't reach the $2,500 goal, but you still give to them individually and donate, that's great. Because you're helping out people. But also watch for our stuff, because I think it's going to be exciting. You know, it's going to be not as exciting as our fundraiser, our show. So let's say self-deprecation.
Got him.
Got ourselves. Let's start. Welcome into Bryant and Me. We're a podcast where we talk about soccer and other things, other podcasty things. We've got a fun show tonight. We're going to start off with the match between Liverpool and Tottenham that just finished a few hours ago. But it also begs the question, if a match happens and no one is around to be able to watch it, did it make a sound?
Also known as the one where Bryant didn't cry.
What? Spoiler alert. Ooh. Then we're going to talk about an update with Chicago Red Stars. There's a rumor out there. Rumors are swirling. The Red Stars might have a coach. Which they should, because the preseason starts in about 13 days. So you might want to get on that coaching thing. We're also going to give an update about Michele Kang, the board of governors, and hashtag sell the team Steve. Talk about that. And then we'll get into all of your favorite Ask Bam questions and topics. And we've got some good ones tonight.
Ooh, some doozies.
And we didn't crown a winner for last week's questions. We gave a winner 2 weeks ago and 3 weeks ago. We didn't give one for last week. But I'm also at the point where I don't remember most of the questions that we asked last week.
And I think the tough love of not awarding a question of the week means you made you guys really bring it this week.
Oh
We're
yeah,
we're motivational wizards, guys.
we're really good parents because we withhold affection
Mm.
to make you closer to us. That might be abuse. Let's talk about some of the stories that we're not going to cover in full detail tonight because gosh darn it, our show is long enough. We're going to go through some scores, some from rewind from some of our teams that we're not going to get into the full discussion, the full discord that we would normally have on our show. It usually means we're going to talk about Premier League matches real quick. So Liverpool men, we'll start with them against Arsenal last week in the EFL Cup, Caribou Cup, Capital One Cup. They played Arsenal and they drew 0-0. Arsenal got a red card from Granit Xhaka.
Shocker.
Really, I would say he took his time on the field for granted.
Got him.
But they went in typical 10 person fashion, parked the bus, and
the
it
game,
ended up being 0-0.
The game was a little rocky for him.
Oh, hey now. So that match is match 1 of 2. They have the second match of the semifinal to see who plays. Well, I'm not going to tell you the answer yet because we're going to have to go through Tottenham scores. Don't ruin this one.
We don't have to.
Liverpool on January 16th then beat Brentford 3-0, which was a fun match, was not stressful at all. I'm not saying that sarcastically. I actually enjoyed it because we won so lopsidedly.
Liverpool was absolutely buzzing in that match.
You're sweet. You're sweet like honey. Let's talk about Tottenham. All right. So we mentioned last week that the EFL Cup first leg was not great.
No, not great.
Yeah, they took their match against Chelsea not well. They were down 2-0. And you even said maybe Tottenham comes back in more of a joking way because we knew it was Tottenham. No, they did not. Tottenham put out a starting 11 that looked like they didn't care they were about to lose the only chance they had at a trophy. Like it looked really bad.
The starting 11 definitely left a lot of people with a lot of questions. Some people are coming up with a conspiracy theory on it that it's Conte is trying to send a message to the board like, you see what I have to work with here?
Oh, that's tricky.
That he's playing a game. Yeah, to start your backup keeper when Hugo Lloris has actually probably been your best player. And to start, yeah, just it was not a good performance. And they showed it on the field for the most part. Though they did play didn't play well enough to win, but they did play really well for about the last 30-ish minutes of the game. Made it seem like, okay, they might have a little something in them moving forward, but
yeah. Too little, too late.
Too little, too late. Yeah, they lost 3-0 on aggregate to Chelsea, which, shout out to our good buddy Bryant Leapick. Yeah. Good for him. Hey, I'll be rooting for Liverpool in the final.
Hey, well, we have to face Arsenal again. So Chelsea is one half of that final. We will find out this week who will be the second team, if they even play. I don't even know if they're going to play because, real quick, we'll talk about Tottenham. Tottenham did play today also against Leicester, and they won 3-2. But your boy Bergwijn, he went off. He won the match in stoppage time. Tell us a little bit about that before you go on your little rant about Arsenal.
So, yeah, Steven Bergwijn, shout out to our Netherlands expert Mike Yeager on the correct pronunciation of the last name. Mm-hmm. So Tottenham are losing to Leicester 2-1. I checked the exact time because ESPN sent me, like, I guess, a write-up that they did on the match. I got an alert a few minutes ago. They were losing 2-1 at 94 minutes, 56 seconds.
Looks like you weren't coming back from that.
Yeah, I had just gotten off of work, had to run over to the grocery store, so I caught about the last 10 minutes, and I was getting ready to turn it off. And then, because I thought, it's because they gave the ref 5 minutes of stoppage time. All right, it's coming up any second. And all of a sudden, Bergwijn breaks loose. There's a little scramble at the front of the net. He puts it in, and you're like, maybe let's see what happens, because the ref let him. He scores. The ref lets him play on. So I'm like, okay, if they're going to give us past stoppage time, I won't turn this off yet. Let's see what's going on. And then all of a sudden, he breaks loose, and in less than a minute, Tottenham are up 3-2. It was at Leicester, and the Leicester fans just look. I mean, the look on their face was like their best friend had just died or something. I mean, it was just like they were absolutely shell shocked, which was pretty enjoyable.
Too bad, Jamie Vardy. You only have to drink 5 beers tonight instead of his usual 10.
Well, he wasn't playing, so
he wasn't partying. Oh, because he partied too much.
He was probably off saying something openly racist.
He was training with the Rochester Rhinos, the team that he owns.
Hanging out with Jeff Cameron or something, probably.
Oh, Lord.
So, yeah, that was a really exciting win, really much needed win for Spurs, because, that's a team that they're competing for kind of that top 4 position. Got no shot at winning the league, but our goal is top 4 this season. That win, 3 points versus 1 against a team that you're competing against it for that position, will go a long way. Speaking of games where we could have gotten some points,
here we go.
On Sunday, Tottenham was supposed to play a North London derby, North London Terence Trent derby, as I like to call. Wishing well, kiss and tell, against our hated rival, Arsenal Football Club. Bunch of bums that they are.
Shout out to Felix and Tyler, by the way.
Yeah, they're good guys. They're an exception to the rule when it comes to that club. But Arsenal decided that they didn't want to play the match. They had one COVID case. But because they had that one, they appealed to the Premier League saying, hey, we don't have enough people. They also had some injuries. They've got, some players away at AFCON. They've got, I think, a player or two suspended right now. So they said, hey, we can't field a full 13-man. I think you have to be able to pull 13 outfield players and a keeper. We can't, field a full team. We would like to postpone the match. And the Premier League, instead of doing what they should have done, which was say, play some youth players, play your U20, pull some guys up from your U23s, field a team, because this is a sport and you need to play, whether you feel like it or not. They gave them an out. So from now on, in my opinion, Arsenal was ducking an ass whipping.
Oh my gosh. Oh my
Arsenal,
gosh.
Instead of doing the right thing for the sport and saying, no, we're men, right? We're going to play this game.
You're so macho.
They turned tail and ran like the cowards that they are. And so from now on, we're going to refer to them as White Flag FC. Because they waved the white flag. They said, we don't really feel like, we got some players out. We've not managed our team well, because they just sent multiple players out on loan last week when you knew you had players away at AFCON and other stuff like that. They had one COVID case. If you're eat up with COVID, like Tottenham was earlier in the season, like Liverpool has been, like some of the other clubs have been, where they've postponed games, okay. You've got one COVID case and you're appealing to the Premier League, and the Premier League, for some reason, is granting you that. It's a bitch move, man.
May I?
Please.
I was letting you get that off your chest, because it felt like a lethargic kind of.
I do feel better getting that off my chest. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not trying to play devil's advocate. I'm only going to say I think the Premier League has some blame, but not for the reason that you said, but for the general adding injuries to it on top of COVID,
Right.
I'm never gonna fault a team for stopping because of COVID cases, because this is the
100.
world
I
in which
agree
we live.
100%.
I'm not,
Yeah.
you're not either, because you said the one COVID case. I don't know enough about it because I steer clear from Tottenham and Arsenal Twitter for obvious reasons, as you
It's
can
a
hear
it's a
right
set
here.
it's a cesspool.
The only thing I follow up for Spurs is Columbus Spurs, and I'm this close to unfollowing them, reporting them, and blocking them. I'm that close. You can't see it because this is an audio podcast, but my fingers are really close. So I didn't know anything else about this argument that Spurs and Arsenal were having against one another. But the one point about your argument is about playing the Utes. What happened for the 3 or 4 matches that Spurs missed? Did they have any Utes? Is their youth academy? Were they off too? Were they on a
We had
sabbatical? Like, why
because
couldn't?
we had to completely close our training ground. That was our really the issue with COVID is more so you've got to completely close your training ground. You've got to do contract tracing. You've got to do all this stuff because
Mhm.
there are multiple COVID cases.
Hmm.
They weren't using COVID cases as an excuse because they had one.
Okay.
They were using, hey, we don't want to play
Oh,
because we're scared.
oh my God. Okay. Well, I'm not going to look through the past results to see if there's any validity to why Arsenal should be scared of Tottenham. I think this is the closest it's been to a rivalry the last few years, because Arsenal had always been kind of, one upping them and stuff.
Sure, sure.
But we were talking about it. We've been talking about this too long, and I don't want to
Indeed.
talk about it anymore. So, Brian, why don't you talk about another match that happened today? This is a rare
So
day for you because you're getting a lot of wins. So many wins. We're sick of the winning.
no, we're not. I'll take it. I'll take the wins when I can get them for Tottenham. So there's been a match coming up that we've talked about a little bit on the show in the last few episodes.
Sorry, it.
This afternoon, the Tottenham women's team played the Liverpool women's team in the FA Continental Cup, and the Spurs women's team came out ahead 1-0 on a lovely header.
Did you actually
To
see the header?
no, I'm completely reading from the
Because we couldn't see.
from the Twitter account.
I ask you that. I'm not trying to trap you like someone on Twitter might trap you. Um,
Did
they
you actually watch the game?
Liverpool and Tottenham was not on. They did not play the match on television or any streaming
At all.
whatsoever. They scored a goal in like the 70 somethingth minute, where great for them. I'm happy for them. Was it Rachel Williams who scored the
Right.
game winning goal for you? Um, Liverpool, their cup challenge ends there in the quarterfinals, which 1-0, that's not a horrible loss away from home, especially considering that we're not able to bring in the best talent just being in the championship, and
Sure.
there comes issues with that. But no, good on you for the victory. Before the match, real quick before we get into that, this is the third most important trophy, I would say, for Liverpool this year, is the Conti Cup. And it's similar to the Carabao Cup on the men's
Right.
side. The second one for the women, I would say, is the FA Cup. And then the first one, especially for Liverpool this year, the first
Is
championship
promotion.
is promotion, is winning the women's championship. So in the women's championship, Liverpool they lost the first match of the season, I believe, or maybe, yeah, they lost the first match of the season, and they have not lost a single match since. So it's looking good I'm not saying anything is for certain because I know all about jinxes, and I'm not a fan of jinxing anybody, but they are up. They've played 12 matches. They have 29 points in the table, and the second place team has a game in hand, but Liverpool's up 7 points right now. That's a comfy place to sit if you have 8 matches left. I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but I'm saying that I feel
Sure.
better. I feel okay.
Yeah.
So winning today, I was really hoping that they would win just to see how competitive they would be against a women's Super League side, because
Sure.
Tottenham, they're in the top half of the Super League. They're not,
Right. They're decent.
they're
The
improving over the years. Yeah.
yeah, the women's Super League is very
Top heavy.
top heavy. Yeah, it's
Right.
similar to say like La Liga or League
Germany.
One in
Yeah.
France. Yeah, the Bundesliga, where it's like there's like two teams that have a chance to win, and everybody else is like way below their quality.
Yeah. So if
Like,
this year, if you're not Arsenal or Chelsea, or maybe I think Man City's kind of coming back, but
right.
Arsenal and Chelsea, if you're not Arsenal or Chelsea, you're not winning the Super League. That's pretty much it. That's how a cookie crumbles over there. Uh, Losing 1-0, it sucks, but it's not a horrible loss. You're playing a Super League team. I would have liked to see them move on just to see how you play against a Man City or a Chelsea, although I think that could have been potentially ugly. But Liverpool's been, I mean, they've been turning the screw a little bit. We won 6-0 last weekend. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But that was on the field. Katie Stengel played. She started this match. The colonist on our team started this match, and the American, did not score this match. She scored the last one, which was nice. She did score on the weekend where we beat Watford. One, yeah, that was Watford. Pretty sure that was Watford. I forget who we played because we couldn't watch that one either. Yeah, it was Watford. She scored her first goal as a substitute in her second match with Liverpool. The American NWSL veteran came in and scored. I couldn't watch that match against Watford, and I couldn't watch the match against Tottenham, and I can't watch the match this weekend against Crystal Palace. It's not because I don't have the time. I have plenty of time. I'm making a podcast for crying out loud. I've got time. It's because Liverpool is just not. They're not airing the matches. So if Liverpool women play on the same day as Liverpool men, Liverpool will not air the women's match. They don't have enough people. They're not going to broadcast it. Today, Tottenham women played. Liverpool men did not play. So Liverpool could have gone to the Hive and they could have broadcasted this match.
Very easily. Yeah.
They elected not to do that. Tottenham didn't do it because they had a men's game at the same time, but you were at Leicester. Anyway,
It's garbage.
I'm as much as the game has really grown, as much as we're seeing Sky Sports putting money into the Super League, we're seeing the matches on Active Football or on NBC Sports. You see them put onto our TV sets over here. For all the growth that the game has, and there's expansion in NWSL and all this great stuff, you can't tell me that teams like Liverpool and Tottenham can't afford to broadcast every single match their team plays in.
It's a dime in the buck. Like, it's nothing. It would cost them nothing compared to their overall budget that they
Nothing.
use for broadcasting, marketing, etc. I mean, these are two of the 10 largest clubs in the world.
Yeah.
When you look at their finances, like, these are
Right.
two of the 10 most valuable clubs in the world. So they got the money. Yeah, I don't want to hear they ain't got the money, because they got the money if they want to spend the money. Liverpool and Tottenham, both the men and the women, are going to spend money in the transfer market this year.
Right.
If they don't in the winter, they both will in the summer. Well, Tottenham maybe, we'll see, but so they've got money ain't an issue. They're paying the men's players in particular a shit ton of money. They should be playing the women's players more than they are.
They definitely should.
You've also got a league that, kind of like you said, Sky Sports over in the UK. Like, this league is growing.
Yeah.
When who was it that did the poll of the top women's players?
The Guardian.
Guardian, thank you. A lot of the players there were plenty of players in the Women's Super League. There are plenty of players that are playing. Most of the players, that was very Eurocentric. They didn't want to include a lot of American players. So the
Sam
game
Lewis dropped from like the top 3 player in the world in Guardians rank. When she played for Man City, she dropped to like the 30s or 40s because she doesn't play in Europe anymore. So I mentioned this I have a lot of issues with that, and I'm just trying not to surround myself with that kind of negativity.
Like, this is a league that they want to grow.
Yeah.
These are not only two of the wealthiest clubs in the world, these are two of the most recognizable clubs in the world. These are two incredibly large fan bases around the world.
And I'm going to argue on the richness of the team because that's a great argument. I mean, I completely agree with you. I'm going to argue that money doesn't even matter in that argument
No.
because
Mm-mm.
this year or 2021, unprecedented 2021, I wrote for the WPSL. I had my first writing gig for 2 months. I was covering matches as much as I could across 30 different teams. In the WPSL, if you don't know anything about it, it is a amateur league where you have some youth kids, you have college kids play there, you have players who are outside of their NCAA eligibility and they're just playing now because they love the sport. It's a non-paid amateur league during the summer for conditioning purposes and all that. The WPSL had a requirement that all teams had to air their games,
Yeah.
either live or in a recording or something like that. You know how many shoddy streams I watched? I watched Lady Victory FC in Indianapolis, or around Indianapolis area, play against the Columbus Eagles. It was a dude holding a phone and you could hear him talking to other people about like what he's doing after the game and stuff, and he wasn't paying attention because sometimes he wouldn't follow the action. That I watched like 10 or 20 of those matches in 2 months, stuff like that.
It's
Don't tell me that even if you can't get a broadcaster, I get it if it costs money that broadcasters out there. Have an intern sit on the fucking bus from Liverpool to Tottenham's match today. Have them hold up a cell phone. I'll watch it on Twitter Live. Have it held up so people can even watch it because you're paying these players. Like you're not paying them enough, but you're paying them something. They're playing during a pandemic and you're putting money into them. You're not even investing enough so people can watch them. You're wasting money paying them if you're not even going to prop them up and let people watch them. It just
it's
doesn't make sense. You're losing money not showing the matches, not getting fan
it
engagement.
makes no sense
Oh,
because
I'm sorry.
again,
This is ranty tonight. We should call this the rant episode.
it comes right back to, it's there's an old saying, and I'll even use the English version. You're penny smart and pound foolish. Like you think you're safe. Because I guarantee you, if you got one of them privately, somebody that can make the decision, they would say they don't have the money for it. I can almost guarantee you they would say they don't want to spend the money on it. But if you invest a little bit of money, it's a league in a sport. The women's side of the sport is growing.
Right.
People are interested. People in America are finding out that the clubs that they get up at 7 in the morning to go to a bar to drink beer also have women's sides. And there are people that say, "Oh, hey, cool. I didn't know they had a women's side. I want to watch that. How can I watch that?"
Mhm.
Well, sorry, you can't. Okay, well, I'm going to go watch whatever, something else. I'm going to go watch the men's, hey, I really want to watch soccer and there's no Premier League on. I'm going to go watch Serie A, for God's sake, when you could
Ugh.
watch, something that you might care about and invest in. And these are talented athletes and talented players that are not getting a chance, not only to grow the fan engagement, but to market themselves.
Mm.
Like, you think about some of these athletes, like if people can see them play, see the athletes that they are, it also helps their brand. They
Right.
might can go out and, because Lord knows you're not paying them enough.
No.
So they, if they can be seen, maybe some of these players could go out and get an endorsement somewhere,
Yeah.
could, market themselves, try and make a little money to supplement the, pittance that you're paying them compared to, their male counterparts. It's like, I can only think you almost lean toward, are they just doing this out of malice?
Yeah. It I think it boils down to they just don't care.
Yeah,
You're not putting an effort in. If the effort is, hey, they have jerseys and I paid them and they have matches to play. Who was it for Arsenal? They deleted the tweet after they sent the tweet out, but they were showing this whole new practice line from Arsenal. And Arsenal, they got some, I don't know much about swag, but Arsenal's kits are pretty cool. They do a lot of throwback ones. They're pretty odd. They do a good job. Let's just put it
sure.
out there. Um, they did these training kits and they had all these advertisements to buy them. And one of the players for Arsenal quote tweeted the advertisement and said, "Wow, it would be nice if they gave them to us." Because they don't get them. And then she deleted the tweet. And then more stories came from it where during the FA Cup final, they gave them warm up tops, but they were all like men's large or men, like they were just burlap sacks hanging on top of them. That's it's the illusion that they're taking care of their teams, but it's just an illusion. It's just
It's another opportunity for them to sell those damn
you're
kits.
shooting yourself in the foot. You're just
Like
shooting yourself in the foot because you don't care and you don't realize that you could be making money off of it because that's
like
why you're there. That's
it's
why the leagues and
literally
FSG are there.
it's literally that situation exactly as you described is literally a missed cheap free at basically free advertisement.
Right.
Because people show up to the match, you got your players come out. Arsenal in particular is one of the best women's sides, at least in England, if not in the world.
Yeah.
Fans come to the match, they see, oh man, these players are wearing those kits they've got on are cool, or those warm-ups they got on are cool. Hey mom, hey dad, can you go buy me that? Or
Mhm.
hey, I'm gonna go buy that.
Yeah.
Instead they're just, they're showing up in either street clothes or the like raggedy hand-me-down ones that you didn't sell probably because you didn't bother to advertise
Right.
in every situation that you could, that don't fit them, that don't look good on them, that's not going to be someone saying, oh hey, that looks really cool. They're going to say, wow, why is she wearing a kit that doesn't fit?
Right.
you
Like
know it's
what's one of the things too that always happens whenever a new player gets announced? What can you do? Like if Tottenham gets a new player, what's the first thing you can probably do and go online and buy?
a kit with their name on it.
Yeah, you can go on and you can buy a kit with their name on it. Okay, I had one of those emotional, like, I'm going to buy a jersey moments where when they announced Katie Stengel, it's like, oh, it's an American playing for Liverpool. I'm going to go buy her kit. That wasn't, she's played in 3 matches, the third one today. She got signed 2 weeks ago. I still can't even pick her name. I still can't even customize a jersey with her name on it
it
2 weeks later.
it took Tottenham a while when they signed Alex Morgan, one of the most recognizable women's players in the world.
I'm going to correct you. She is the most recognizable, the most marketed women's player in the world, period.
It literally took them, I think it took them a month
Mm,
before I could buy a kit with her name. And as soon as I could, I literally, the day it became available,
right.
bought one. And you know me, I'm cheap.
You're real
I,
cheap. That's the only
I,
Tottenham jersey you have.
I have two now. No, I have that one. I had one other previously.
Oh, you did. Was that a sunny one?
I didn't put a player on it.
Oh, thank God. Anyway.
Yeah, they would have like immediately broken a leg or something. But no, I mean, it's just, again,
Mm,
you're shooting yourself in the foot, and it just doesn't make any sense. Like
you can, yeah. It's so easy to it's so easy to make money off of this. People want to make money off. People want to give
what?
you money. I want to give you money, and
It's
you're not
it's the
letting
it's the Fry meme. It's the meme with Fry from Futurama. Like, shut up and take my money.
but they just won't see. They won't shut up because they won't listen. They won't
That's
listen.
fair.
Man, well, I have nothing else to say about it. I guess that's
Um,
it. Let's talk. Let's move to domestic
whoa, whoa,
soccer.
whoa, whoa. Let's hold up. Let's hold our horses there a minute, buddy.
The stable's
Um,
open. They're gone. Let's move back to the NWSL. We got some
I do
Chicago news.
do believe that there was a bet um around this game, that around this Tottenham Liverpool match, that if Tottenham won, that you were going to have to pay a compliment to a certain striker for the Tottenham
So
men's side.
Son, him Son, he's a really likable dude. I think he's one of the greatest, nicest players in the league. I'm done.
Not that one. To one Harry Kane.
Oh,
I wrote
oh,
a compliment for you I prepared a
I
statement
was
for you.
hoping you didn't because I asked some people on Twitter. I was like, I'm having trouble thinking of a compliment. The best compliment I could think of myself was that his mom probably likes him. That was the one compliment I could think of. And I stress probably likes him.
I think she likes him because she's never had to work a day in her life.
Dollar bills, y'all. Before I read your very canned statement, I'm going to read some other responses I got from some pals. I didn't use Bryant. I used the one Thomas Costello. Follow me on Twitter. Shameless plug. I asked, what compliments can I give? Jeremy Two Face said he's tall question mark. That was good. Two Rash Challenges said he's not Cristiano Ronaldo, which that is a really good
That's
compliment. You're
that,
not
that
Cristiano
you're
Ronaldo.
not Cristiano Ronaldo is was speaking of Cristiano Ronaldo, oh my
Yeah.
god, I watched the United match this afternoon after Tottenham went off and he got taken out and is just like ranting and raving on the sideline like by himself. He got taken out of the match. I was just like, are you a child?
Well, we
Like,
all know he is. We all know he is.
get the hell out of here.
Frank Barker said he has breath in his lungs. That's a good one. I thought of another one is that he doesn't play for Man City. That was a compliment I was going to give him. All right. No, I will read uh this biased compliment just because I lost the bet and I'm somebody who doesn't like to lose bets, but I will pay up. And I'm not going to have my finger crossed behind my back either, which I told Derek I was going to do that. I'm not. Thomas Costello, would like to state that Harry Kane is a great footballer and an even better human being on and off the pitch. Ugh. Any statements I may have made previously or will make that are contrary to this statement are false. Ugh. There's an episode of the Drew Carey Show. I'm from Ohio originally, so Drew Carey Show, you have to watch it. It's actually
All of the
required.
kids growing up on the skids going Cleveland rocks.
Well, there's an episode where he's internet chatting with somebody and he meets a girl and he's just like all hung up on her. He's all about this conversation. He's like falling in love with this person and they're talking and talking and talking. And then at the end of the episode, he finds out that it's actually Mimi, who is the secretary.
I was going to say, I knew it was going to end up being Mimi.
They hate each other. And she says something about they were about to do some like sexting or whatever you would call it over the internet. Like, I don't know the phraseology there, but she says like, oh, I'm going to have to turn my troll dolls away. And then in his head, he's like, troll dolls. And then he asks more questions. He finds out it's Mimi. He backs away from the computer shaking. And then they do a cut scene to him fully clothed in the shower, laying in the bottom of the shower, water drenched all over him.
Crying.
He's just scrubbing his clothes and scrubbing himself crying. That's me, what I want to do right now, reading that Harry Kane compliment. Big shout out to LFC Columbus and Columbus Spurs. They got into the fun because we challenged them to, and now somebody within LFC Columbus is going to have to take a picture wearing a Tottenham kit and a scarf.
I hope it's Pete Gillette.
I hope it is too. And I hope he doesn't say I have to do it. But I'm not in the leadership there anymore. You can't pull me back. So thank you for playing along, supporters group. I thought it was fun. And that's just what this game is. It is fun. As much as we rant about it, we want to be able to watch our teams and do the same stuff we do watching the men's side, stuff like this. So we'll keep doing fun stuff because we like fun. You know what else is fun?
Ooh, what?
Having a head coach. Wait, that's not fun at all because we can't have fun because Chicago doesn't have one. So, February 1st is the day you can all circle on your calendars because you all have calendars that you can circle. NWSL starts back up, the preseason. So all of our pals over at the Red Stars, Danny Colaprico and Keely Watt and Mal Pugh and Sarah Woldmo and Mo Gautreau and all of our favorite pals.
Tatum, the GOAT Milazzo.
Yeah, Tatum Milazzo. She not going to surprise people as a sophomore. Tell you that much. Aaron Wright. We could go on. Tierna Davidson. On and on and on. There's so many players that are just fond to us because they wear the Red Stars on their kit every match and they play for the badge. Anyway, enough of that. They don't have a coach yet, and they start in 13 days. But Sandra Herrera, who we all know from the much better Chicago Red Stars podcast, Southside Trap, which comparing it to us really isn't a compliment, but they do good work. They're good enough that people pay them. They have a Patreon. Um, so that's something. She shared a tweet from a Jonathan Tannewald, who also does a lot of writing within the soccer space. He's very popular within the NWSL space and all that good stuff. But a name has now been connected to the Red Stars. And Omid Namazi is connected to the Red Stars. He coached the Red Stars for 6 months back in 2010. And he was also he was also within the US women's soccer, I think also. He was an assistant. Yeah, he was an assistant in 2014 also. So it sounds like there might be a coach incoming. I'm hoping by the time we post this or tomorrow morning that we already have a coaching announcement. But it looks like we might have somebody. This is the first name I've seen rumored since Rory was allowed to resign a couple days after the NWSL championship. And even the signings, it sounds like an Arnhem signing if you're just signing somebody who used to coach the team before. That's the first thing my mind went to, is like, this sounds like a convenience hire.
It sounds very much, again, I think the tweet in question mentioned something about that they were looking at people already in their Rolodex, which another pretty dated, kids. A Rolodex is something that back in the day you would keep on your desk, and it had pieces of paper that you could spin around in a circle. And it had people's names, phone numbers, and addresses on them. And you would use that instead of looking in your phone to find a phone number or a person's address.
I explained a phone book to my kids the other day.
That's hilarious.
Because I had to explain a phone book.
There's a meme going around about a mom who I guess watched the movie The Ring with her daughter for the first time or something. And she's like, yeah, I had to explain what like a landline phone was and what a VHS tape was. And
oh gosh.
Otherwise the movie didn't really make much sense.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it again, like you said, it reeks of them bringing somebody in-house, also somebody. And look, I don't know the guy. He might be the most awesome stand-up guy in the world. I don't know much about him. But not only are you bringing somebody in with a prior connection to Arnhem, with a prior connection to the club, you're also bringing somebody in who's, and I know this is hard not to find, but somebody, I know you said he's also been involved with U.S. soccer, which, as we know, is also a cesspool.
Not a great thing on your resume.
So it's like, it's kind of just a double whammy of kind of underwhelming
questions. It leaves you asking questions.
Yeah. And again, you've got, and I don't know, like, look, I don't know a ton of coaches at that level. Yeah. Like I don't have like a list of coaches where I'm like, oh my God, this would be a home run hire. But like, you have an opportunity to try and gain back some of the trust from your fan base, some of the buy-in from your fan base. And this is the decision that you're looking at making. Like, it just, I don't know.
It seems tribal. If you look at the NWSL teams, Chicago seems like the most tribal of the teams. If you catch what I'm saying, let me explain a little bit. A lot of the players you pick up are from the Chicago area. They've been developed through the Chicago youth system for a long time because Rory was running it all. He was the head of the show. But now you're bringing in another person who has ties to the team, has ties to U.S. soccer. It feels very tribal, where you hear about other NWSL teams talking to former players, other coaches within the league. They're getting coaches from over in England, and they come over. Coaches like out in San Diego with Casey Stoney, something like that. You have these coaches that you should be able to entice. I mean, if you look at the roster, you should be able to entice them. Hey, we have 4 members of the U.S. women's national team on here. Like, we have a talented team. We just made the championship.
And we're one of the founding members of the league. We're a team that not only made the championship this year, but yeah, we haven't won a title, but we've made the championship
Twice.
3 of the last 4 years.
Well, the last two NWSL championship games, the Red Stars were in them.
Yeah, and then they weren't in one, and then I think they were in the one that they lost to North Carolina
Right, right,
before
right,
we were
right, right.
fans with Sam Kerr. So yeah, they've been 3 of the last 4 championship games the Red Stars have been
Yeah.
in. They've lost, but they've been in them.
Hmm.
So you're a club with a name. You're in what, the third biggest market probably in the country.
Yeah,
Chicago
I'd
probably
say
behind New York and LA. I mean,
New
you're in
York, LA,
it's the
Chicago, man.
third biggest city population wise
Right,
and
right.
within the country, so you're in a major market where you can get your name out there, where you can try and, kind of market yourself if you
Hmm.
wanted to, move on past that point, like you've gotten opportunities to. And you go with somebody who, again, it feels very much like you said, like we're circling the wagons, we're, bringing somebody in that we from within our organization because we've had trouble and we've had controversy, so we're bringing
Hmm.
somebody in that we know instead of going for somebody who might bring in some new ideas, might bring some new ways of doing things, might
Right.
challenge some of the status quo at the club, which, given everything that's gone on there the last few years, certainly
Probably needs
needs to
challenge.
happen. Yeah,
No,
it just, it's, you know, I don't like it.
if the players are okay with it, I know the players are
Yeah,
part of it. If they're fine with it and this is who they want, then fine. I mean, that's
sure,
what we support the players and their decision. That's great.
100%.
But if this is something that gets force fed, and we'll never really know unless somebody like out under, anonymously tells some of the actual important journalists who cover the sport out there. Yeah, unless that happens, we're not going to know. If the players are fine with it, great. But if they're not, come on, come on.
Or if there's a deleted tweet like Danny's with the dog eating your eye boogers thing.
I forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me. I, oh my gosh. And I think Rocky would eat them, but I've never fed him eye bookers. Like if it fell out, I think he would lick it up, but I would never feed the dog eye bookers. Oh my gosh. Well, let's not talk about eye boogers. We're gonna talk real quick, a little update about the Washington Spirit, Solo Team Steve. By God, that's Michele Kang's music. So now this is just happening over the last day. Michele Kang and Steve Baldwin are both going to the NWSL Board of Governors, where the Board of Governors will either qualify or disqualify Michele Kang as an owner of the Washington Spirit. If they qualify her, the buyer that Steve Baldwin was going to sell to, he's backing out. He's like, no, I'm good. If Michele gets qualified, and if she does get disqualified, it looks like Baldwin can sell the team however he wants. You also said about the former politician. What happened there, Bryant?
Former Democratic, Senate Majority Leader Tom Daschle,
Mm.
in about the only good thing he's ever done in his life, um, is apparently one of the investors in the Spirit that did sell his shares to Michele Kang. So
Hmm.
good on you, Tom. We speculated last week if Chelsea Clinton did the same. This would be the first time a Clinton's actually done something good for the country.
Oh, this
Uh,
guy. You're razzing him. Razzle
so
dazzle.
it's, and I think when you and I were texting about this the afternoon, I think the thing I texted you and you agreed was the NWSL is probably going to screw this up, aren't they?
Bryant, what kind of detrimental harm would come to the league? How many supporters, give me a percentage. How many supporters do you think might just completely say, forget it? We just talked about England. You can watch all these
And
England matches. You can watch the Women's Super League.
and there's a part of me that if they did, wouldn't blame them and would consider joining them almost. Like at some point, man,
Do you think this is a crucial moment? Do you think that if they disqualify her, they're going to lose a
I I,
lot of
th- I
people?
think they're going to alienate a lot of people. Yes, I think, and I'm not going to give up on the league because again, I care more than anything about the players, and I want to support the players. I want to,
And the league knows that too.
and the league absolutely knows that.
Yeah.
And that's always the problem. It's like I want to support the players, but I can't support the players without supporting the league.
They dangle it. They dangle it in front of you like, well, the
Short
players, what about the players? It's kind of
short
like when
of literally sending, Danny Colaprico $20 or something, like finding out her Venmo and be like, "Hey, Danny, I'm supporting you. Here's $20,
here's some
whatever
eye
it
boogies for your dog.
is." Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's such and you're exactly right. They've kind of got you. Like, I want to support the players. I want to go.
Every
If I can.
sports league does that. Every
Oh,
sports team does
the
that.
MLS certainly does that. The
Every
NFL does
sports.
that. Major League
Look at
Baseball,
England.
the
In England,
NBA. Oh yeah.
they don't televise matches in England because the onus is on you. You have to be at the match. You have to go to the stadium. You have to be watching it as a supporter. It's so ingrained in them that they have to watch it. Where in the United States, it's more of like, well, this is America. You can watch it on TV. Well, I don't have to go to a football game. But they make you feel the ownership can make you feel bad. You have to be doing things as a fan. And then other fans eat it up. You have to be buying new jerseys. You have to give money to the team. You have to support them. You have to buy merchandise. Like
You gotta buy tickets to games, buy merch,
you have to be there.
if you buy concessions at the games, like, oh, you're helping support the team, which we in turn pay the players. If you're coming to the official Columbus Crew kickoff party at, whatever, like, it's all these little things that they do, and we're attached emotionally.
And they
And
know it.
they know it. And when you're attached to when you're thinking emotionally, you make decisions that aren't always the most logical.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, at the same time, how can I, at this, while I wouldn't blame people for turning their back on the league if they were to pull this crap, because I mean, nothing would shock me,
Yeah.
given how this league has handled so many other things.
Just in the last 12 months,
I
not
would
even 12
be
months, 6 months.
I would be more surprised if this had a positive conclusion than if this had a negative conclusion.
Wow.
And that just says so much to me about the league's leadership
Yeah.
and how they've handled that. I mean, that's their track. I don't know how you could look at their track record and think anything different. And so it's like, but how could I also say, okay, I'm not going to watch the NWSL anymore when I watch the Premier League every week. I
Yeah.
watch the NFL. Hell, Friday night I spent money and went to an NBA game and watched the Hornets play,
Oh, City.
which was a lot of fun. They lost, but it was a lot of fun. It was my very first ever NBA game.
Nice.
And yeah, it was a lot of fun, so for me, it just, but I hate at the same time, like, man, can we get something positive? Like, we talked about it last week. Like, this was one of the first moments I've seen in a while where everyone associated with the NW that tweets about the NWSL, like all of NWSL Twitter,
Yeah.
was
99%.
celebrating.
Yeah. Everybody.
It was
Just about
positive. They were happy. There were memes. There were happy memes. There weren't like negative, upset memes.
Yeah.
We were having fun. We were laughing and joking and celebrating, and it was fans of every club. It wasn't just Spirit fans. There were Red Stars fans getting in there, and there
Every
were,
fan base. Yeah.
every Gotham fans and KC fan, like literally every fan base was represented and having and celebrating this.
Yeah.
And then the league is gonna turn. I can't shake the feeling that the league is gonna turn around and shoot themselves in the foot and just completely alienate, this fan base.
It's going to be a pivotal moment in the history of the league where maybe you point to this as either the moment where, okay, maybe things are trying to get on the right track, maybe things are on the right track, or the moment where, unfortunately, this is where.
And I come into this obviously from the perspective of a cis white male, right?
Right.
But if I'm a woman, how can I look at the league with the way they're handling a situation where they're going to take the side of a straight white male over a woman of color, an Asian woman?
Mm-hmm.
How can I feel like the league is going to have my back when they're not even going to have the back of potentially a millionaire owner, potentially somebody in their
And
club.
this is an owner that had a coach that was abusing players and has a track record of
Right.
not treating his players well. Like this is an owner who helped that all happen. He was part of this, and there's a lot riding on this, and maybe this is just recency bias, and we think, oh, this is going to be huge, and maybe the next thing is, oh, this is going to be huge, but this feels this feels really big. It
Yeah.
feels like this could be a huge moment, which means right as our show is done recording, we're gonna find something. Someone's gonna tweet something, because that's usually what happens after a show ends. Is some news
So
comes out.
you're welcome.
You're welcome for the islands I pulled from the sea. Hey, it's okay. It's okay. You're
You're welcome.
welcome. Guess it's just my way of being me. All right.
I'm sure everyone that I work with loves anytime they say thank you that I send them a gif of Maui from Moana saying,
Well,
"What can I say except you're welcome?"
Encanto's the new hotness. We don't talk about Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno. It's on Disney Plus. You won't watch it. You still haven't watched Ted Lasso. So that's our soccer talk for tonight. Bryant, why don't you bring us home? And by bring us home, I mean we're on to part 2 of our podcast. Let's go through all these questions that we got from our Familia de Bam.
The good folks, of the Bam fam. You guys,
And some
as
all right
you,
folks. Good
as
folks and some all right folks.
yeah, there's some Arsenal fans among the bunch. So
Oh.
you guys really came through this week. You brought the fire. You brought the
Mhm.
hot, spicy questions. We know that you're loving this segment as much as we are, so we appreciate you sending us your questions. Keep sending those to us every week. Our good buddy Frank is working on a full episode of nothing but questions, nothing but 101 Bam Fam questions that we're going to record at some point. We'll have to get that on the calendar.
Maybe
Uh,
101st episode. We'll see you in 21 weeks.
so I'm going to go ahead and start. And speaking of the good Arsenal fans, we'll start with Felix. We love Felix. Felix asks, who is going to win the Women's Asian Cup and why is it Australia?
I think that Australia is going to have a good day, mate, because they're going to win this tournament. It looks very kind of lopsided looking at the field that you shared with us, Felix. Yeah, I could see where maybe not going to be too much competition, but what do you think, Brian, looking through the
I'm going to
teams?
go out on a limb. I'm going to go with my heart a little bit here. I'm going to take a little bit of a dark horse. And I am going to go with South Korea.
Okay.
And let me tell you why my heart sits
Oh
with the good
man,
folks at
here
South
we
Korea. There's a
go. It's
few
coming
reasons.
back to Tottenham. Get out of
Because
here.
my favorite footballer in the world is, of course, a South Korean. Also, my favorite television show that I watched in 2021 was made in South Korea, Squid Game. Also,
I haven't watched Squid
for Christmas, I got
Game.
some fermenting equipment, and I love Korean food, and I'm gonna try and make my own kimchi at some point soon. So I'm gonna go with the good folks of South Korea. South Korea is, as we all know, best Korea.
Oh, right. That's like saying Southside Trap is a better Red Stars podcast than us. We know that we're the North Korea of soccer podcasts.
So South
Except we
Korea,
kill you with kindness
instead of just killing you.
and not death camps.
So give me South Korea in an upset. They're
I
gonna
think
send
it's
the
Australia beats Japan in the final.
so
You heard it here.
you're just going chalk, and I mean you can do that.
I'm sorry, my love of kimchi didn't point me in that direction.
Hey, all right. So Frank, our good buddy Frank Barker, the aforementioned, asked us to pick 5 numbers between 1 and 21, which we thought was a question he was contributing,
I thought
but
it was just real legitimately you wanted us to give you numbers.
and I was gonna say 369.
Damn girl,
Damn girl,
fine.
fine. Sock it to me one more time.
Hello.
And then also we'll go with 13 and 16. Just why not?
I was going to do
Um,
7, 13, 20, 6, and 9 that I was going to say. Nice.
nice.
Because I'm a child.
But apparently that question will mean something later on as we get back to Frank's questions. But there we go. So our good buddy Derek Helling asks, how much do I need to practice to have moves as sweet as the frontman of Go West and the king of wishful thinking music video?
You watched this video more recently than I have. I've already tried to block it out of my memory glands because they're glands. That's what everyone calls them. What did you think of the video when you just watched it prior to us recording Bryant Me, the North Korea of soccer podcast?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a very 80s, very 80s. And there was a guy in there who I thought for a second was Henry Rollins, but then I was like, yeah, I don't think Henry Rollins
You
would be
asked
in
me
this
if it was
video.
Henry Rollins, and I said, I don't think Henry Rollins is doing this video.
Though that would be hilarious if he did. Um,
Just screaming.
um, but no, it was very 80s, very, I got vibes of, because I'm not familiar with the song, but I just kind of dig the song, of like Phil Collins with like Susudio or Susudio.
Was that Phil Collins? I thought that was
That's definitely Phil
Peter
Collins.
Gabriel. I'm
Peter
thinking
Gabriel,
Sledgehammer.
Sledgehammer is
I
one of the
wanna be
uh,
your
Sledgehammer.
sledgehammer.
One of the greatest music videos ever made. If you've never seen it, go to YouTube, look it up. One of my absolute favorite videos. Back, because kids, there used to be this thing called
Back in
MTV,
my day.
and they used to play music videos all day instead of showing white trash people from Jersey. that was a thing that they used to do. So, Derek, I've never met you. Thomas has met you in person, so I don't know how much swag you have.
I
But I
think this
think,
is in your genetics as a mayo on white bread, white dude. It's just
yeah,
it's
I
in
don't.
your genes to be able to dance like that. It's just a lot of swinging of your arms. It's almost like the Carlton dance without
Dun,
as much
dun,
depth.
dun, dun, dun. All
Did you
right.
see Bel Air on Peacock? Do you see the Bel Air?
I've seen like the trailer or something for it.
Did
Like
you
I've
see
seen
the SNL joke trailer for Family Matters?
no.
You need to find a joke trailer because they did one where uh, they're like another another dramatic remake of a show, and then it's Urkel and Carl and Laura. It's great, and it involves Urkel beating the crap out of somebody, saying, "Did I do that?"
I was gonna say, did they try to make it like
And
dark
then
and edgy?
and then he pulls a gun on the guy. He's like, "Should I do that?" And it's just Carl breaks somebody's arm. It's Keenan and Chris Red at their finest. You need to watch it. But
I will.
since we were talking about, I don't know why were we even talking? Why did we even? Oh, Carlton dance, and we're back.
All right. So I assume this question came with another question somewhere about food. So we've got our good buddy Brian Lanoy, crew cat, leader of the Columbus Canaries,
Fighting the
uh,
noise.
s- sticking with food related questions. Ketchup or mustard on your hot dogs?
Mustard.
I'm not one of these like anti ketchup on a hot dog people. Like,
I'm not
you want to
either.
put you want to put ketchup on a hot dog, go for it. But yeah, I'm pro mustard, particularly like a spicy brown mustard.
Little stadium mustard.
Ooh, I miss stadium mustard. When you
Ballpark
come,
mustard.
when you come for in July, I'm gonna need you to bring me some stadium mustard from Ohio.
Okay. Bertman's ballpark mustard. Yeah, that's some good shit. I think no ketchup on a hot dog. It's become one of those really polarizing. I just say it because it's a stance that you need to have, and it's just cool to have a stance like this. If you care that much about ketchup on a hot dog, it's like who cares? It's a
Also,
hot dog.
and I'm gonna
And they're lips
alienate
and assholes.
I'm gonna alienate a portion of our fan base here when I say this. It's mostly Chicago
Cover your
people
ears, Chicagoans.
that
Cover
don't
your ears.
think you should put like ketchup on a hot dog. Chicago hot dogs with all the crap on them, we don't need all that. Like, get the hell out of here with all that. They're not that good. Give me a dog with chili,
Mm,
mustard, and raw onion.
mm.
Perfect combination on a hot dog, or kraut,
Have mercy.
or kraut and mustard.
I could do crown mustard. Oh God, I'm so hungry. Um, so
All right.
mustard is my answer.
So up next from Homer, probably the easiest question. I texted you when I saw this question today and said this is probably the easiest question in the history of the At Bam segment. Erase one of the following TV series forever so no one can ever watch it again. The Simpsons, The Office, or Friends?
I I'm going to tell you the wrong answer first before I tell you my answer. Missy Petrovic, who we love. Missy, you're great. Member of
It's
the
good
band
people.
fam. You're real good people, except for this take where she replied. And also, we had a rash of people in this week answering the questions that people are asking us. And first things first, you're asking Bam, okay? Don't go stealing answers by putting answers into the tweets. All right. We're answering the question, not
You
you.
get your own podcast if you want
Get
to
your
answer
own
questions.
podcast, especially when you say The Simpsons is the show that you would wipe away, because that, how could you say that? How could you say The Simpsons? The Simpsons is part of America. It's if it's like saying you don't like apple pie or freedom.
Now, did The Simpsons and The Office follow the same arc from the standpoint of they started off really strong and then have faded a lot down the stretch? Yes, absolutely. Um, but Friends was never good to begin with.
I
So,
disagree.
so getting rid of Friends in this scenario is the easiest. I don't like Friends. I'm gonna go another spice. One of my spicy takes here. I don't like Friends.
You said you barely watched it.
I don't think it's funny, and none of the people on the show are even remotely likable.
You said you have barely watched it.
I've watched enough. I've watched enough to get the
How
vibe.
many episodes have you watched?
10.
Okay. Brian, I think that's unfair. I think that's unfair. If you think that's a spicy take, I'm gonna, I'm answering this take organically as we're talking about it. I thought about it. The easy answer, I think, is Friends. I think the easy because it's a little more dated. I can see what you said about The Office, though, and The Simpsons, and how they're really good at first and stuff. The Simpsons at its best, better than any other comedy, I think, on
Oh,
TV. When
ever.
Simpsons it's at
Yes.
its best, you can't beat it. Friends, my wife loves Friends. Amy loves Friends. We actually just went through watching the show again, and I find myself laughing at it. Now I hate Ross. I wish Ross didn't exist, and he's the worst character on the show. If I would rank all my characters, there's a top five, and then I don't rank Ross because he doesn't deserve it. I I can see the social aspect of Friends and how it's done a lot of things for the TV culture and all that stuff. I'm gonna say this might come as a shock. I'm picking The Office, and I like The
Mm.
Office. Here's why I'm picking The Office. Everybody, everybody who watches The Office and has any sort of online presence or even talks about it at work has somebody who says, "I like the British Office better." Get the fuck out. Stop it. If
No,
I
you
could
don't.
get rid of if I could get rid of The Office and then not hear people turn on their, "Oh, British shows are better. It's better than the remake." I don't want to hear anymore. So I'll get rid of the British Office and The Office just because I would never have to worry about it.
That's no, that's a fair
I made a good argument though.
that's a fair take. I'm not gonna agree with you because I have probably a more than it deserves hatred of Friends. Um,
It does because you've only seen 10 episodes. And Steve Carell had other stuff that you could watch that's really funny. And I think I could live without anything else Rainn Wilson did. And I could probably live without everything else that uh, John Krasinski does. And I also think The Office ruined Ed Helms. So
yeah, I mean,
but
when you think about
Mindy Kaling might not.
yeah,
That would be tough.
Mindy Kaling's doing big things.
She makes some fire shows.
Um, and also Alyssa loves Mindy Kaling just as a human being, so I could never say anything negative about Mindy Kaling. So
Dang.
yeah, I mean, now if you had put Seinfeld in this, it would have been much more of a challenge for me.
What's the deal? Sorry.
because nobody on Seinfeld is likable either, but that's like the point of the show. Like it's in an endearing way that they're all terrible people.
Yeah.
Not like on Friends.
It was
They're
like
just
Twitter before Twitter. Seinfeld's like Twitter before Twitter. No one's talking about anything that really means anything, and everyone's just really annoying.
and everyone's terrible. Everyone's
Except for
really a
the band
terrible.
fan. We love
Everyone's
all of
really a
you.
terrible human being who never really learns or grows from.
That's a great way to explain it. Wow. I just complimented you for my analogy. Get your own damn analogy. Next question.
Our good friend Tanya. She asks, "Here's your mandatory parental question: Why are these kids so addicted to YouTube? What's the deal
What's the
with these
deal with the
with these
YouTubes?
kids and the YouTubes?"
Is it you? Is it a tube? What's the deal? I am going to answer this one since you have no kids.
I don't have kids.
The
My cats,
reason
my cats aren't really into it.
they don't watch much YouTube. The reason kids are addicted to YouTube is because parents are addicted to just some fucking peace and quiet. That's why my kids love YouTube, because sometimes I just need to sit down and not play with Hot Wheels cars.
So much to learn about.
Oh, don't do it.
It makes me want to shout.
Blippi! Hey, it's me, Blippi. On today's show, he pooped on somebody before he did Blippi. On today's show, I'm going to defecate on somebody. Don't do that, kids.
Anything on YouTube is better than Caillou.
Fucking Caillou. All right, next question. Let's move on because we need our kids to just shut up every once in a while.
When you're on a date, when is the proper and appropriate time to bring up your love of fig Newtons?
I don't need to worry about this. Dating sounds awful. And I'm glad that I'm married to my wife and I never have to think about it. Fig Newtons are okay. Mike Hudson probably says, I like the British Office better.
Yeah, he strikes me as the type of guy that would say something like that. I don't like fig Newtons, but it's not because I don't like the taste of them. Figs like jack my stomach up for some, like figs and dates like jack my stomach up for some reason. So
dates.
Well, the dates used to, they used to get me got a little nervous. But that's how I knew I was making a good decision, by going on dates with my wife.
Oh.
And even still, she gives me the butterflies.
Oh. I think you should be poisoning you.
That's probably accurate, and it's really hard to blame her. Soccer Noob asks, and this is, I'm sure, directed
I'm going to ask you this one. I'm going to turn on the lights like the Spanish Inquisition. How can anybody like Watford's crest? It screams medical book cross-section diagram of a vaginoplasty gone wrong. Ew. I didn't read this tweet all the way through. I just saw the first part.
It's a
Please
moose.
Never put the word vaginoplasty in our mentions ever again.
You will be blocked and reported. Yeah, no, it's a moose. Like, moose are badasses.
Sorry, we're closed. Moose are out front.
Bullwinkle also, like
Bullwinkle.
Bullwinkle, he is one of the best cartoon characters. Like, Rocky and Bullwinkle was great.
The Manitoba moose.
There you go. So moose, man, moose are badass, fearsome creatures. They're like super fast, super aggressive. So the fact that their crest has a moose on it is awesome.
But and then the fact
that they're the hornets, even though their crest has a moose on it, is even more bizarre, which kind of makes me like them.
How bizarre?
How bizarre?
How bizarre? How bizarre?
There's like I think it's for like Discover, the credit card that uses that song now, and I can never get it out of my head after I see that commercial. How bizarre?
Crazy. Every time I look around. Next question.
If your favorite teams were movies, this is from Mr. Carr. If your favorite teams were movies, which movies would they be? Tottenham is going to be Titanic.
If the moon was made of prime rib or
spare ribs,
would you eat it? I know I would.
And wash it down with a cold Budweiser.
Oh, if you're okay, what were you saying? I rudely interrupted you.
I
What's
was
new?
I was asking Jeff if he could be the top scientist in his field or have the mad cow, which would you choose?
Oh Lord. Oh,
If your favorite teams were movies, which movies would they be? Tottenham is going to be Titanic.
kill,
I'm not gonna go with what I was originally gonna say because it's incredibly offensive.
killer soundtrack. Killer soundtrack though. Um
You're here, there's nothing I fear.
I'm gonna go with since we're approaching the Winter Olympics, I'm gonna keep it on a Winter Olympics rate. I'm gonna pick Cool Runnings. And I'm gonna pick Cool Runnings for the Cleveland baseball team because no one expects them to do anything. And then when they do something, people get excited, but then at the end, they crash. Cool Runnings.
I
Feel
like
the
it.
rhythm, feel the ride. Get on up. It's Guardians time.
That's our second Cool Runnings reference of the episode, by the way. So that's
Rise above it. You can do it.
Prop it up now.
All right, but up it. All right, next question.
Your bones will not break; they will shatter.
Sanka, you dead? Yeah, man.
Think you can pee now. Too late. This is
Oh,
and this is I think we can both agree this is our question of the night here from
this
Matt
is it.
Morris.
We're not going to withhold love this episode.
Uh, bagel bites, or pizza rolls? Which are you choosing?
My heart tells me pizza rolls, but my head, I think I'm gonna go with my head in this one. I'm picking bagel bites. The reason I chose bagel
I
bites
think you're gonna pick it for the same reason I am.
is
Go ahead.
because pizza rolls are great, but every so often you bite into one. It's so hot and you just burn yourself so badly. I'm picking bagel bites because when a pizza's on a bagel, you can eat pizza anytime.
Pizza in the morning, pizza
Pizza
in
in
the
the
evening,
evening, pizza
pizza
at
at supper
supper
time.
time.
With
When pizza's
pizza's on a
on a bagel,
bagel, you
you
can
can
eat
eat
pizza
pizza.
anytime.
I just did an electric guitar riff for you.
One of the great '90s commercial jingles, right up there with the Mentos.
Yeah.
Um, you know what I'm gonna choose? I'm gonna choose both because I'm an adult, and one of the cool things about being an adult and having my own money is no one can tell me if I have to choose between pizza rolls or bagel bites. I go to the grocery store and I'm like, you know what? I'm an adult. I work hard at a job I hate. I'm gonna have both.
I'm gonna put my pizza rolls on top of my bagel bites. How
I'm
about
gonna
that?
boom. I'm gonna
How
eat
about
a
that, Matt Morris?
I'm gonna go to Melt and eat a grilled cheese with pizza
Oh my
rolls on it.
gosh. We can't just stop talking about food. I'm hungry. All right, let's move on to the next question.
All right. All About Women's Sports podcast asked
All
us
women's sports podcast. There's no
all women's
about in
sports.
there.
There's no about. I can't read. I'm Ron Burgundy. What do you think about the NWSL San Diego and Angel City rosters?
I think that it's going to be really exciting. I don't see these as expansiony sides with the names that they have. If I had to
No.
choose one team over the other, I'm probably going to pick Angel City though, because I think Savannah McCaskill and Kristen Press, I think they're playing alongside Sarah Gordon. It's going to be a heck of a team to
And,
play against. I think if I
and
had to pick one of
less
those teams to
and less so
play,
Juilliard.
if she decides to play, I don't even know if she's coming back. I have no clue. If I had to choose one team over the other, I'd definitely pick Angel City. Although logos, I would choose San Diego.
I think I'm going to choose San Diego's logo over just about anybody's in any sport because it's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Look for some stuff. I think we're going to try and maybe get some. I know we're going to try and get some people from different
Yeah.
NWSL teams.
Yeah. I think we
Hopefully we
got 3 teams settled right now for guests. We need only about 8 more because we're not going to do the Red Stars because we talk about them every week.
hopefully we can get somebody from at least one of those teams to
Yeah.
maybe to break, or maybe just like a West Coast correspondent to break down both teams. Like
Coming to you
we'll
live on the West Coast.
we'll see what we can do there. So our good buddy Felix asks another question. Who's going to win the Aussie Open?
Not Djokovic.
Go get vaccinated, you bum.
Come on, you bum. I'll pick Naomi Osaka
I think
because that's the only tennis player I know. That's
I
not Serena, and she's not playing, I don't think.
I'm you and I, as we were prepping for the show, because that is something we actually do, believe it or not. I looked through the current matchups at both the men's and women's Aussie Open, and Naomi Osaka is literally the only player I've heard of in reading the entire list.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm gonna go Naomi Osaka, and then on the men's side, I'm gonna go with Pedro Martinez because I
Wicked
like
slider. Wicked
the
slider.
baseball player.
That fastball slider combination.
Just
Couldn't beat it.
under somehow Pedro is a goat of that period and is somehow still underrated, I think.
I think you pitched alongside Randy Johnson. I think Randy Johnson, even though Randy Johnson was pretty inconsistent compared to Pedro Martinez.
Pedro also, surprisingly, if you haven't watched his coverage on MLB Network at all,
He's great.
pretty good broadcaster.
Although he had a heart attack or stroke, didn't he, recently? Is he all right?
Oh Jesus, did he? I didn't know that.
I don't know either. Well, all right. Well,
Well, I hope not.
get well soon, Pedro.
best
I think because he
best
was on the Red Sox when they weren't winning. That was the thing.
best wishes out to you, Pedro.
Yeah.
Robbie Rogers asks, what do we think about the Michele Akers hire in Orlando?
I think it's great. Orlando needs all the help they can get.
Somebody I think was upset that we said they were going to be the worst.
It was Mr. Carr.
It was Mr. Carr was upset that we're going to, yeah, they're going to suck. So,
And then they just got rid of Taylor Korniak too. They're I don't know why they're cleaning house. They did bring in Marta's Brazilian teammate, which I think that'll be helpful. But outside Cindy LaRue and Marta, what do you got? Ali Krieger's still there? Wouldn't not Ali Krieger?
I was saying
Riley. Sorry, my mistake. It's late in the show. I can't be held responsible for anything I say.
Robbie asks us underrated snack foods.
This is I've been eating frozen fruit a lot lately as a snack
God,
because it kind of like tricks you into thinking you're eating ice cream because it's cold and frozen, and then you can just kind of snack on it for a while.
it doesn't
It's
at
just
all.
I don't know. I have been eating healthier, but I'm gonna say frozen fruit. Also, if I'm not going healthy, get some pieces of pepperoni and a mozzarella cheese stick. Pull the cheese off, wrap up the pepperoni and the cheese stick. Let's go. You have been over to my house whenever I've been drinking, and I get into sometimes habits where I eat too much cheese. I eat
You
too
get
much
sick.
cheese, and I get sick the next day because I'm hungover, not just from alcohol, but cheese. And that's not a good combination because as you grow older, we actually grow an intolerance to dairy as we become adults. So, not a good idea. I have to have my wife remind me anytime we do any sort of longer term drinking, she says, don't eat any cheese, stay away from the cheese. I'm fine.
Could we say that Chex Mix is underrated?
No, it's designed to be a snack food.
I
I
like
went
Chex.
outside of the box though.
Okay, I was gonna say I'm a big combos guy. Combos are.
Combos. They say they have different flavors, but they all pretty much taste the
I
same.
mean, I never get outside the pizza combos anyway, so I don't know if any of the others. I
The
don't know what
cheese
any of
and
the others
pretzel
taste like.
ones, I think that's when you venture out. If you stick with pizza ones and you eat them every so often, that's fine. But if you're eating them all the time, it all just tastes the same.
Go to road trip snack for me.
Yeah.
Combos, beef jerky, and Haribo gummy bears.
Oh. Yeah. I can
All
do that.
right. Best brand of beer, and why is it Shiner?
Who hurt you, Robbie? I don't know. Like you, we no joking aside, mental health is important, and you do need to, talk to somebody if you need it, Robbie. I'm not trying to call you out, but I don't know what you're talking about, Shiner. I'll just pick Land Grant. I like their beers. I'm not an adventurous beer drinker like you are, Bryant. You know all these different beer things. Stuff. I'm cheap. I don't want to waste money on beer that I don't know is good, so I'll just stick with Land Grant because I like it and it's local.
This is
I'm
going to
so
be
put.
my Lucille Bluth question of the week. I don't understand the question and will not answer it because
Perfect.
I can't pick a best brand of beers. I do like Shiner Bock. Shiner Bock is good, but I'm not going to pick a favorite brand of
Blues
beer
Blues
because
question of the week, folks. You heard it here.
that changes every week. And then we're going to do a quick set of Frank questions.
Frank, rapid fire.
Rapid fire. Best sports documentary.
Cool Runnings. I said rapid fire. That my brain is not ready to answer rapid fire questions. No, best sports documentary. I'm gonna say, what's the name of the documentary? I can't remember the name of it. It's about the NASL and Pele coming to the United States. I have
Oh
it
my
on
God,
DVD.
it's a 30 for 30, isn't it?
No, it's not a 30 for 30.
Oh no.
I have the DVD. I will have to find it and I'll tell you on the internet. But that's my favorite documentary. I liked it so much that I bought it on DVD. That was back when everything wasn't digital copy. So
Pretty much any of the 30
once
for
in a
30.
lifetime. It's called Once in a
Ooh,
Lifetime. Sorry.
there you go. Pretty much any of the 30 for 30s about basketball. For some reason, basketball makes really good documentaries. The entire Ken Burns baseball documentary,
Oh, that one's good.
Hoop Dreams is a great one. My all-time favorite though just because I'm a huge Muhammad Ali fan is When We Were Kings, which is a absolutely incredible documentary about Muhammad Ali. Best commercial ever.
Oh man, we were just singing commercials. I can't. It's hard to choose the best commercial ever. Can I pick like the commercials I like most recently?
Sure.
I like the turning into your parents commercials.
From Progressive, yeah, those are
Those
great.
are, is that Progressive or is that Geico? See, that's not a great
No,
commercial if you
it's
don't remember.
Progressive, yeah.
Okay. I like those ones recently, but overall all time, um, I can't think of one.
I'll go with the most quoted one in my house, which is, you remember the Orbit commercials about having a dirty mouth?
Mm-hmm. Can you
And
name
it's
them?
the who you calling a cootie queen, you
You
lit
Lant
lit.
Liquor, which sounds like Fortune Feimster if you've ever listened to her comedy.
We
Um,
Alyssa and I quote that one like all the time. I randomly found it as a reel on Instagram the other day and I sent it to her and we've watched it like 10 times. It's great.
I like those ESPN commercials. This is ESPN. I like those commercials. They had a good run.
Random video game shout on those. When the NFL 2K series of games back in the day, this one was on PlayStation. This was like PlayStation 2. When it was like NFL or ESPN 2K5 or something, it had TO on the cover with the Eagles. And it was like in
It was
conjunction with
ESPN, yeah.
in conjunction with ESPN, and one of the unlockable things you could get during the game was you could unlock a bunch of the old This Is Sports Center commercials. And my
Nice.
all-time favorite is the one, God rest his soul, with Steve Irwin and Alligator and Albert, the Florida Gator mascot.
Because you hate the Gators and he
I
tackles
do,
it out of the elevator.
I do. It's great,
You
but
could
it's
tell how
just
bad of actors some of those athletes are, though. There's
oh,
some horrible acting in those.
or the one with Scott Van Pelt where he's LeBron accuses him of stealing his seat.
And he's sitting in the throne. He's like,
It's
oh,
like
no,
just,
I haven't seen it, man.
yeah, I don't know, LeBron.
That's a
Um,
good. The one I sent you the other day about the Y2K,
yeah,
the Y2K practice, and then I forget he passed away too, the former anchor. He's like, follow me to freedom," and they're tearing down the office and they're destroying computers and stuff. That's a fun one. Anyway,
classic. Favorite soccer celebration?
I I'll have a least favorite one is when they put the ball under their shirt and they suck their thumb. Like what? That's so stupid. I have an
Frank,
idea for a soccer celebration. All the crew players are dyeing their hair gray, like Lucas and Diaz have their hair gray. It's just a thing, I guess, players are doing now. I need them to score and then act like they're walking with a walker. I want them to do that, but I don't have a favorite. I don't like Ronaldo's. Maybe Stevie G when he kissed the camera. That was a good one. Or a good Steven Gerrard slide. He
I
was really good at the sliding
I enjoy
celebration.
anything involving the corner flag. Like if you go over and like kick the corner flag or like dance with the corner flag or like I've seen all kind of like
Bryant hates corner flags, man. Kick them.
those are fun to me. To hell with those corner flags. Would you want to know when you die, but you can't tell anyone if you found out?
Uh, I know. I wouldn't want to know when I die.
I don't I don't want to know either. Like I feel like that because then all I would think about is that it's coming up. Whereas, like I feel like the whole like you live your life because you know that it could be like any minute. But it's like if you know that it's coming and when it's coming, it's like I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, well, there's some things I really want to do, but no, I got 20 years. I can wait and do those later. And then you never get to them. Whereas, now you're like, well, I could die tomorrow. Like I should just go do those things. It's
Live like you were dying.
little Tim McGraw for that ass. Now, so you have to go to a sporting event to ruin it. Where are you going? Frank is going to the Masters, even though it's not a real sporting event because golf isn't a sport.
Yeah, the Masters, that's a really good answer. I would definitely want to ruin that golf event. Yes.
That's a good one for a few reasons, partly because it's obviously a very like rich old white guy crowd
Right.
of people.
Like they
So
just let people, like they just let women. I think I think people of
well,
color into there like
it,
10 years ago
it
or
was a
something.
big deal when Tiger Woods got like played there and stuff. It
Yeah.
was like they wouldn't let him be a member, I don't think initially.
And we're
Like,
not very old. That shouldn't be
no.
something in our history.
So yeah, the Masters is a good call. I'm trying to think of something that beats that. Maybe like Wimbledon for basically the same reason.
But they're British, and I just assume that's okay over there. I let me think. I love to like ruin like a New York Yankees game. That would be good. I love to ruin like a big moment. Let's say whenever they do a circle jerk for Aaron Judge one day when he retires or something. I like to go during his retirement celebration and just ruin it. I would love to ruin it. Maybe a Portland versus Seattle MLS match. I'd love to ruin that because everyone gets into a hussy about that. I'd love to ruin that. That's a lower on the list, but it's still on the list. What else can I be petty about? An
Yeah, no,
Ohio
I'm
State
trying.
football game. I would love Ohio State to be going for the winning touchdown in the national championship, and then I run in the way and I trip the guy before he goes into the end zone, and then I'm most hated man in America. That would be really fun. I'm getting a lot of ideas now.
I
I'm
don't
getting a
know that
lot
I've
of
I don't
ideas.
know that I've got anything good that tops the Masters. Like I really,
He shouldn't have said that because that just
yeah,
ruined
that
it.
nothing's gonna. I don't think any.
No,
Again, given the like, it's basically the
the
movie
gravitas.
Caddyshack. Like
Yeah.
it, I basically want to make the Masters like Caddyshack, where we just like show up and are uncouth, and we put a baby Ruth in the swimming pool, and Bill Murray takes a bite out of it, and the
It's a
old
no. It's
the
a
old lady
no.
thinks it's a turd and like faints. Like, I mean,
Oh,
it's a classic movie, one of the best. All right. So that's all our questions. So thanks guys for bringing these out.
good lot tonight. There are a lot of questions tonight.
I think we decided that the pizza bagel bite versus pizza rolls question is our question of the night. Keep sending us those questions. We are at Bryant and me on Twitter, and we'll gladly
Mhm.
take your Ask Bam questions. Thomas is at one Thomas Costello. Follow him for all the fantastic things that he is writing and
Yeah.
all his wonderful takes. He's doing some writing for he writes for Massive Report. He writes for Beyond Women's Sports. He writes for the love of doing it. Trying to
Love for the
try,
game. I go out there for it's about the badge
trying
every
to
time I go out there.
trying to get out there and get his bankroll doing some writing as well. So that's always mad respect for you there for what you're trying to do with that.
I need to work more on writing without caring if people read it. That's what I need to work on. That should be something I can focus on in 2022. Because if I was writing with the idea that I knew people were reading it, I would have quit a long time ago. It's but I go back and forth between quitting and being happy with it.
Well, we record a podcast every week that nobody listens to. So just go into it with that
But
mindset.
I get to talk to you at least. That's the reason we
That's
do this, so we can talk to each other.
that is completely fair. We are on Instagram. We're at Bryant and me. Thomas is
Yeah.
also on Instagram at one Thomas Costello, same as his Twitter handle. I'm at Pickle Chip. Replace the I's with ones. You can see my adventures in Charlotte. I don't know, drinking beer and going to concerts.
Does Sycamore
Um,
have a new coffee ice cream beer coming out? I saw an advertisement for it on Instagram. If they do, you have to get that, and I'll trade it for mustard.
I'll
I'll
see what I can
barter
do.
you beer
I
for
I
mustard.
I recently I figured out actually on our evening walk tonight that Sycamore is like a much closer walk than I thought it was from my new apartment.
Nice.
So yeah, I'll probably be walking there soon to drink. Um, but yeah, no, we appreciate you listening, and we appreciate you sharing the pod with your family and friends and coworkers, neighbors, enemies, random people that you meet on the street. Just share it with anybody. Get us some listens. Be on the lookout for our fundraiser we're doing with Chris that we mentioned at the beginning of the show. If you have ideas, if there's something that you would like to contribute, either hey, if you want to give us money for it, we'll gladly take it. But if you've got ideas for how we might could raise some funds, please shoot them our way. We are open to any and all good, cool merch ideas or just
Mhm.
money raising ideas. We appreciate that. Please take care of yourselves this week. Take care of your mental health as well. If you need help, if you feel like you're struggling, please reach out to, someone, whether it's hopefully a professional if you have the means to do that, or a friend, someone you trust. Just please reach out. Talking absolutely helps. On that note, bye guys. We love every single one of you.
Adios.
Cheers. Come on, you Spurs.
Ooh. Everything I said about Harry Kane was a lie. A lie, I tell you.
Sorry, the statement says that that's false.
You got me again.